Alright, welcome. So, we've been doing the newest line, which is a run from the Northeast Corridor between Trenton and New York Penn in New Jersey to New York. A little disappointed because they did not continue on to my favorite part of the line, which is into New Rochelle, because that passes through Queens and the Bronx. But that's not there, so I still do have Train Sim, the first one. We could do that. So I'm looking here to see. We did get the Acela. I was gonna wait on it, but I ended up getting some Christmas money left over, so I ended up taking that out. Okay. So I'm feeling the Acela. Is the Acela one in this one? Alright, so we have to do the other stuff before we can... Okay, so with the journeys, looks like you have to kind of go in order. I do know that there was another scenario here. Here we go. So let's do the ASES introduction, and then we'll take a look at the Acela intro. Okay. I think they're missing a C. I thought it was ACSES. This is ASES, but I just play. Boom, 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 boom. But welcome everyone. If you found us through our YouTube page or you're finding us here live on Twitch, we welcome everyone. I just got back from a trip to Disney. Always a good time down there. We'll process everything through here. We are just waiting for it to load. Now this is the PS4 version, so it doesn't load as fast as the PS5 version does. I do not have the PS5 version set up because it doesn't allow you to have everything. All right.
In this training module, you will be taken through the basics of understanding of the ASES, Advanced Speed Enforcement System. First, let's enable enforcement of the ASES and alerter systems. ASES relays signal aspects and speed restrictions to the equipment in the cab. You should always follow in-cab signaling, even if you have not enabled positive of ASES. Now that ASES enforcement has been enabled, penalties may be applied if speed limits are violated or if system alarms are not properly acknowledged. Let's take a look over the onboard equipment to understand how to read and react to them. Most of your information will be displayed on the display in the center of the console. The ADU to the left of the display shows the current signal aspect. The speedometer is to the right of the ADU. Your MAS, or maximum authorized speed, is shown in green around the edge of the speedometer. You should not exceed this. Your current speed is shown in the center. Let's get moving and see how ASES enforces signal speed limits and track speed limits. The ADU is currently displaying a clear aspect, meaning that you are able to proceed, not exceeding the maximum authorized speed. Overspeeding may result in a penalty brake application. Always adhere to the maximum authorized speed. ACES allows for operating up to 3 miles per hour over the maximum authorized speed. Any higher, and an alarm will sound. If this occurs, you have 8 seconds to reduce your speed before a penalty brake application. If the maximum authorized speed is exceeded by 6 miles per hour or more, an immediate penalty brake application will occur. To recover from a penalty brake application, move the brake handle into the suppression position and keep it there until at or below the maximum authorized speed. The train does not need to be stopped in order to recover from a penalty brake. The next signal is displaying a less favorable aspect than clear. When passing this point, the cab signal aspect on the ADU will change in order to conform. When the cab signal changes to a less favorable aspect, an alarm will sound that must be acknowledged. If exceeding the maximum authorized speed, move the brake handle into the suppression position and keep it there until at or below the required speed.
So the information on this one's a little bit wrong, just because this particular train doesn't have a suppression mode. This was using a lap brake system, so they tried to make something simple, but I don't know if they really understood that they are dealing with two different types of systems here. It is what it is. We'll continue. Almost done here. We'll jump into the Acela next, hopefully.
The aspect has now changed to restricted. Not only must you operate at a reduced speed, but you're expected to drive by sight. Be prepared to stop if trains or other obstructions are seen ahead. operate to the next station. As always, pay close attention to the maximum authorized speed and cab signal on the ADU.
Alright, so next one they want us to go to Newark's Penn Station. Now, a lot of these Penn stations, if you're not familiar with them, are Penn stations because they used to go to Pennsylvania. At one point, Pennsylvania was one of the main states to go through. Still kind of is to pass through, but there was a point in the United States history, if you're not familiar with it, where Pennsylvania, especially Philadelphia, was actually the capital. And then Washington, D.C. was built, and that became the nation's capital. Interestingly enough, Washington, D.C. is the nation's capital, but it is essentially kind of like an autonomous region. Which is probably a smart thing, because it doesn't belong to any state, so no state can kind of say like, oh, we control DC. In case of, say, a war or something, the capital is an independent place, or it's supposed to be at least. Oh, we get restricted here. Let's start braking. Alright, that was weird, because as we started to do our slowdown, it then told us that we can go back up to 90. So something's going on ahead. If you look here, you'll see planes landing in the distance. They are heading to Newark Airport. That is pretty accurate. I actually did a flight yesterday on Flight Sim. I don't stream my Flight Sim flights though, but I flew from Orlando to Newark because that's a flight that I actually did in the real world on Thursday morning. Actually, not too bad. There was a bunch of storms that we had to fly over when I did the flight yesterday, but we were actually pretty clear storm-wise on Thursday morning on the flight. We also got lucky. We flew United, and supposedly United had an issue the day before where for some reason their computers all went down. So luckily we were not on that flight, or booked on a day where all those things happened. But I think we saw some residuals because our flight back wasn't supposed to be full, and by the time we got on the plane it was full. So I think there was still some residual catch-ups because of that. But yeah. Alright, we're making our way. running the safety system on this train with the lap brake is going to be a little bit of a pain. It would actually be nice if it would have given us like some more of like an advance warning, but it doesn't seem like it's capable of doing that. At least on the other one, like, you know, okay, 20, and then it tells you like what the next one is that's coming up. And you see like a little countdown, but these are the New Jersey Transit trains and they don't seem to do those things. Alright, so after this, hopefully we have the Acela introduction. I'd see that Princeton Junction is on the map. At Princeton Junction, they have a train called the Dinghy that usually takes you from the junction to the campus of Princeton University. I don't know if they model that or not, but we'll find out. I do know with ACS, ACSES, and ATC on in these trains, sticking to the timetable is a little difficult. So just be prepared for that if you plan on driving these trains. I was actually playing some train simulator yesterday. Did a run from Baltimore to DC. That's pretty interesting. I actually did it and got the 3 stars. Train sim is actually a lot more unforgiving than train sim row, in the sense that, like, if you do something wrong, if you're late, like, they penalize me for being a second, 1 second behind. Still got the full 3 stars, but I was like, wow, like I was a second behind on an arrival. At least in this, they don't really hit you that hard. Sometimes you'll lose some stuff for timeliness, but it's not as bad. Alright, let's get this bad boy stopped. For some reason, there's like a delay on these front doors. It's strange.
That covers the basics of the ASES safety systems. You can always replay this training module if you need a refresher on these topics.
Alright, so once it lets us get out of here, I'm going to take a look at one of the other vehicles there. Alright, we're going to try to take a look at the Acela here if we can. Alright, let's see if we can find the Acela introduction next. Alright, let's see if it'll let us pull it up from here. I think what they also updated the Boston line. Alright, I meant to do journeys, my bad. I've been doing journeys more because it kind of puts the stuff together in a nicer package for everybody. Okay, let's see. Alright, let's see where our Acela is. I'm gonna go to the train depot. That's all done. Uh-oh, this one's missing a name. I wonder if it just didn't. Oh, here it is. Alright, let's do the Acela Express intro. It should appear in scenarios on that map, but I don't know. We'll figure it out. So if you're not familiar, Acela is the high-speed product typically found in the northeastern corridor. I think some of it also runs in Pennsylvania, if what the game says is correct. I've ridden it between New York and Boston before. It's a high-speed train for some parts. High speed in the US is roughly about 125 miles an hour. I think when I was on it, it got up to like 150 possibly, but I don't. It's been a while. So a few years ago. Alright, let's listen to the intro.
In this training module, you will be learning to drive this Acela Express train, used on Amtrak's flagship high-speed rail service on the Northeast Corridor. You will be driving this train a short distance around the training center and performing passenger operations. Firstly, set this cab to the active one using the Cab Activate button. Sit in the engineer's seat. The reverser determines the direction of travel and unlocks this control desk. For now, set it to neutral. Now we'll set up the headlights. Regardless of the time of day or weather, all trains must have their headlights on. This train draws power from the overhead lines using a pantograph. Press the pantograph up button to raise the pantograph and draw power from the overhead lines. This train is able to tilt above 60 miles an hour to allow for greater passenger comfort when cornering. Unlike some other tilting trains, only the coaches of the Acela Express tilt during cornering, and the power cars remain level. Tilting has to be disabled on some sections of the Northeast Corridor where it cannot be performed safely. Here at the training center, it can be safely enabled. Set the tilting switch to enable. The brake valve cutout needs to be set to passenger to allow for braking to be controlled from this cab. Close the doors before departure. You are now ready to depart. You'll be doing a full circuit of the training center and aim to stop back at this station again afterwards. Set the parking brake to release. The parking brake will hold the train in place when the throttle is off and the train is stationary. Now apply some power to get moving. The parking brake will automatically release when the throttle is in the ready position. Coasting is a method used to efficiently maintain speed and reduce motor stress and maintenance requirements. Keeping to speed limits is important. If you begin overspeeding, apply a small amount of braking force using the automatic brake. When the Acela Express debuted in America in the year 2000, it was the fastest train in the Americas, reaching speeds of 150 miles per hour, or 240 kilometers an hour. 20 train sets were produced between 1998 and 2001 in a joint venture between the French company Alstom and the Canadian-German manufacturer Bombardier Transportation. Alstom would later go on to purchase Bombardier Transportation, which completed in 2021 for 4.4 billion euros. Although based on Alstom's TGV, the Acela Express has a few key differences to adapt it for operating on the Northeast Corridor. It has been made much heavier to comply with the Federal Railroad Administration's crash test standards, and the ability to tilt was added to cope with sharp curves on this route. Each train set contains two 6,200 HP power cars on each end, with 6 passenger cars between them, with a combined capacity of over 300 passengers. Enable cruise control to allow the locomotive to maintain a set speed. Begin to slow down as you approach the upcoming station. When automatic brakes are applied, the throttle on this train can be used to control the dynamic brakes. Open the doors again to start boarding. Good job. This covers the basics of operating the Acela Express.
Alright, so Acela intro is done. One thing with I find with like the ACS 64 and with the Acela is they don't always stop as well as you would expect them to. Excuse me, get the hiccups. So yeah, so it's an interesting thing here to take a look at. Alright, let's see what else this has in store for us here. So we have a lot of scenarios that we haven't done yet. Let's see how many scenarios are available for our Acela. Okay, so we have 3 for Acela, but they're mainly on the Boston run. Okay, interesting. Play around with those. Alright, we did all the ones here for the gallery car. We have a few left to do here with Clinchfield. The reason we haven't done some of these is because they're very long. We did all those. Those all complete. That's all done. I guess these are new. which is why I haven't done them. Yeah, I think these were added after, so I didn't get to those yet. Did all the bi-level. This one's a missing one. It's probably a placeholder for a train that I didn't buy. TGV is all done. 484. Gotta do a coastal takeover on the West Cornwall. Okay. Okay, I think I know why that one hasn't been done yet. Got some more here. Yeah, we have to do some of these. Again, some of these are 2 hours long, which is why they haven't been done yet. Alright, some additional stuff for our London tube stock, which will take care of those. I didn't do any of these, because these are on Clinchfield. I have a few here to do. Mainly these are sand patch. There's a little bit of everything on this particular one. Same thing here. The reason I haven't done a lot of the fleet ones completely is because they're long. These are new, but we will complete these with the ALP and the multi-level cab car. That one's done. New Year's Eve in New York City. Okay, they put an extra train in to go from Liberty to Penn for the New Year's Eve celebrations. Take care of that one. This one's a Sunnyside yard move, which we probably did some of those in the last one. Let's see. Yep, so we have some more. Most of the stuff we haven't done has essentially been freight in the US, which we'll work on. Another freight service here. Another freight one here. Yeah, ooh, chemical plant zone. Oh, these are old ones, that's why. So mainly looks like we just have a lot of freight stuff to finish. Okay. There's one here, storm trail, that we have to do. We've actually done a lot though. Yeah, this one, Oakville, I have to do pretty much all the things there. A few more on Steam. Alright, so we got at least the Acela intro out of the way. And we'll finish up these things in the next few streams here. We'll work on that new line. Alright, let's go join another streamer. Alright, we're going to go ahead to Cyan doing some trips around the New Zealand updates. So hang out there. Catch everybody later in the week.